Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, we've got a fun three-way battle report for you tonight. We are playing 1,000 points each. It's Necrons versus Blood Angels versus Space Marines. I'll go over the mission in a minute, but first of all we'll go over the army. Start with mine. So I have a Cryptic as my HQ, and he's got the Veil of Darkness. I have 5 Immortals with Gauze, and another 5 Immortals over there with Gauze. And then I have the Destroyer Cult formation, so 3 groups of 3 destroyers and a group of heavy destroyers. In reserve I have the Destroyer Lord from that formation with the Void Reaper, and he's with 5 death marks. We then have the Blood Angels who have deployed up over there with 10 strong man unit of Terminators. Are they WYSIWYG, are they? Yep, so they're WYSIWYG there, so lots of Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields and Lightning Claws. And joining them is Methiston. He has a squad of scouts, so they're going to outflank a Rhino with some tacticals in, and also a Lass Predator. Then over this side of the table we have some Space Marines. They've deployed 2 Vindicators and a Lass Pred. In reserve there's 2 drop pods. There's some Centurions in one. What's in the other one? Stern Guard. Small unit of Stern Guard. Okay, so mission wise we are going to play the rescue mission, old 4th edition mission, but we really love it, especially for a 3-way. So we've laid down 6 counters randomly across the board. So there's one there, for example, one up over there, so they're dotted around the table. There's one by the Terminators there, one over there in the Space Marines deployment zone, there's one hiding over behind that building, and there's 2 in front of me. We're going to roll a dice, and whatever number that dice is, that is the objective that we're going to find. So you can pick the objective up by standing on it, and then once you're holding it, once we found the actual one, then all the other objectives disappears, and that is the one that we play over. So there's a bit of cat and mouse, whether it's a good idea to pick the objective up at the beginning or not is a matter for us to decide. Okay, so we're going to find out what objective number. So we're looking for a number 2, and we're going to randomly select who goes first. So we're going to put 3 dice in a cup, and we're going to draw them out each turn, 1 player at a time, to see who goes. Okay, so we're going to draw a dice and see who's first. Okay, so in the end it was actually Necron's turn 1. So moved up the heavy destroyers, got line of sight of one of the Vindicators, and got 3 penetrating hits. 1 cover save came through, but then I rolled a 6 on the table, so destroyed one of those. The other models here just jiggled around. I could only get 2 destroyers in line of sight of the Terminators, which I did. Got 1 wound through, and guess what he rolled? Yes, a 1. So I managed to kill a Terminator. So that was my turn 1. I'm now going to put my hand in the cup and randomly get a dice, and the colour is red. Blood Angels. Okay, Blood Angels, turn 1. Okay, so that was Blood Angels, turn 1. They moved on up, decided not to pick the objective up, incidentally, which is what I did. I'm right next to the objectives but didn't pick them up. And then they did their psychic powers. The first power was to give themselves a feel no pain 4+ roll, which they did perils, but rolled a 5 and then didn't fail the leadership, so they were fine. Tried a couple of other psychic powers but failed them. So that was their turn, so we're going to go straight on now. So the last dice to come out is obviously Space Marines, so it'll be Space Marines turn 1. Okay, so that was the Space Marines turn 1. And bearing in mind that the Space Marine army is unbound, unlike us dutiful Necrons and Blood Angel players. So the drop pod came down here, scattered quite a number of inches, but still got in there, no problem at all. Centurions got out. I did try to use my interception with the death marks, but I scattered. They went back into ongoing reserve. And then they took out quite easily my 3 heavy destroyers. So they went down. The drop pod shot my Immortals but missed. The last cannon on the Pred came over here, shot my destroyers, but I managed to get my RP, and then the Vindicator moved up just there 6 inches and shot my Immortals, scattered off, and then I got my RP save, so not too much damage apart from the heavy destroyers going down. Okay, so now what happens, we're going to move on to turn 2. The Space Marines will stay out of the cup so that he doesn't get 2 goes in a row. So it'll be between Blood Angels and Necrons, and then the Space Marine turn cut dice will go back into the cup. So it's going to be random turns once again. Turn 2 coming up. Okay, so turn 2 for the Blood Angels. So the Terminator unit moved up as fast as they could, not moving that fast through the terrain, but still making a play for my Necrons and this objective here. Did some psychic powers, once again managed to get the 4+ fill no pain off, but all the others failed. This tank here moved up fast, sitting right on that objective. Obviously only troops can pick it up. The last cannons from that pred shot into my Immortals. I lost 2. Rolled a 10 for my leadership, so I didn't run. And then the scouts came on, they flanked, and they ended up on this side of the board. Not through choice, but could be potentially useful because there is an objective just hiding up behind there by the drop pod. Okay, so we're going to we basically put the Space Marine dice back into the cup, and we're going to randomly find out who's next. And it is the Space Marines. Okay, so Space Marines turn 2. Okay, so that was Space Marines turn 2. The second drop pod arrived from reserve. It's got 5 Stern Guard in. I decided to intercept again, so I landed here but scattered quite largely over and actually landed on the objective. I picked it up. It was not number 2, the objective we're looking for. And then I shot at the Centurions. I did manage to take 1 wound off Tigerius there. The Centurions moved up and they shot at my destroyers. I lost 1 destroyer and I have a wound on another one. The 2 drop pods shot and both missed. And then the Stern Guard there, they obviously got out and they shot my Immortals, but I managed to save everything, so that was quite useful. Okay, so it's going to be Necron turn 2, and then we're going to move into turn 3. More to come. Okay, so that was Necron's turn 2, and after having a couple of volleys, because it turned out the Space Marines hit me twice before I could hit back with their Centurions, I thought it was about time I just took a few chances. So looking at the board, the only possible counter that I could humanly get, or Necron-y get, was this one over here. I just come round here because of the angle of the camera is not great. There you go. So I did the Veil of Darkness and I scattered a little bit, managed to get in, picked the counter up, and guess what? It was a 2. So amazingly I'm holding the objective, not to the Blood Angels' delights because their Terminators are all the way over there. They do however have some scouts just over in the corner, so that was one of my targets. So I moved up the destroyers here and took out a few scouts. They didn't fail their leadership check, so they're still standing there. Everything else here, basically the rest of the destroyers shot at the Stern Guard, and I managed to kill all of those. I did try shooting the Immortals at the Tigerius Centurions, but of course they had invincibility up, so that was not happening. That's what that smoke is, invincibility. Okay, so we're going to move on to turn 3. I stay out of the pot, but I'm going to just randomly select the next person, and it is a black die, so that is Space Marine. So it's Space Marines turn 3. Okay, yes, I just forgot to say, I did manage to take the Destroyer Lord up over there, and his Void Reaper there just wrecked the Vindicator, which is pretty useful because I'm sure that would be coming over in that direction. Okay, so yeah, back to Space Marines turn 3. Okay, so Space Marines turn 3. Centurions moved up, heading around the drop pod, trying to get to the objective. They split fired, shot out my 3 death marks that were left, and then shot out a unit of destroyers, 3 destroyers going down. The 2 drop pods did a couple of pop shots, but didn't really do anything. And then up over there, the Destroyer Lord, he took a wound from the last Predator there. So that's it. We're going to draw another dice, so it's either going to be Blood Angels or Necrons. A red dice, so it's Blood Angels, turn 3. Okay, so that was turn 3 for the Blood Angels. The Terminators there moved up as fast as they could through the terrain, tried to assault the drop pod to boost them up quicker across the table, and they rolled a 3 for their assault range. So the Blood Angels doing what they usually do, failing their assault. This tank here moved up over there, making a way behind the ranks. And then over here, the scouts moved and assaulted my immortals that were there. Managed to get in. I killed 1 from Overwatch, and then we did the combat. I had 5 saves to make, and I rolled 5 5s. Look at that. I did manage to kill a scout. They failed their leadership. I chased them down, so became fearless, and we were just basically locked in combat there. I'm still holding the objective. There's 3 scouts left. That was pretty much it. The Centurions there are invisible as we move into Necron turn 3. Okay, so Necron turn 3. The Destroyer Lord that was over there, he went and had a play with the Predator and managed to immobilise it and take 2 hull points off, so just 1 hull point left. Then I had to deal with these Centurions. The only thing really that I could do, they were invincible again, was try and hold them up in close combat. And I've managed to do that. I did lose 3 of the Immortals from Overwatch, but I got into combat, did no wounds back on me, so we're just locked there. These Destroyers shot them first, but needing 6s to hit, unable to do so. So they just jumped just in that area there. We then continued the assault just around the corner for this objective, and we struck blows, and no damage done on either side. So that is that. We're going to move into turn 4, and I am going to have a go at drawing the dice out. Let's see which colour. It is a black, so that is the Space Marines. So Space Marines turn 4. Okay, so Space Marines turn 4. So up over there, the immobilised Predator there shot my Lord. The Destroyer Lord's down to 1 wound at the moment. The assault continued, and I have managed to wreck it now. Then over here we went into the psychic phase, where the Centurions are now invisible once again. We went to the assault phase, and no wounds done on either side. So we're going to draw out to see who's next. Okay, what have we got?
Blood Angels.
Blood Angels are next, and we were just having a laugh just a minute ago because the Blood Angels, these Terminators here, started life in that building, and in 3 turns they've moved there. We're on turn 4, and these Terminators have to get all the way over there.
They're going to do it.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We're in a flick of...
Okay, so turn 4 for the Blood Angels. Okay, so Blood Angels turn 4. Methaston decided to come away from those slow-moving Terminators, and he moved and ran 6 inches up there. Terminators decided they didn't want to go through any terrain or anything, so they've gone the long way round to try and go faster. They moved 6 and ran 3 inches. Yeah. This tank here moved fast all the way from right the way over here, all the way over there. And then the last Pred shot my destroyers just here. The front destroyer only had 1 wound, and obviously he died. We then went into the assault around the building there. I did no damage, and I lost 1 of my Immortals. However, I didn't fail my leadership, so I'm still holding the objective as we move into my turn 4. Okay, so Necrons turn 4. So the Destroyer Lord that was all the way up over there, he moved, ran, and used his assault jump move, and he ended up just there. We went, no, these the two destroyers that were there, they moved back. They shot here but didn't do any damage, and then they jumped packed around the building there. Then we went to the assault phase, and yeah, I did no damage. Actually, I lost the combat by one immortal died, and then I failed leadership on both units, and I'm running with both units there. The Centurions there have just consolidated 2 inches. We continued the assault just behind there. I lost another immortal. I've got 1 cryptic and an immortal left holding the objective. There's still 3 scouts. So yeah, I lost the combat, but I didn't run or anything. So we're going to see whose go it is for turn 5 first, as we randomly select a dice. And it is a black, so it's Space Marines again are first. Okay, so turn 5 there for the Space Marines. The Centurions moved on up over there, used their cheesy grab weapons, managed to take out the Destroyer Lord and a squad of destroyers there with no trouble whatsoever. So we're going to roll, we're going to draw the dice and see who gets the next turn 5. So here we go. It's a red Blood Angels, okay, Blood Angels once again, and Necrons are last. Okay, so Blood Angels turn 5. The tank that was there moved up fast just in that area, along with Mephiston moving and running, and the Terminators and that tank all moving fast. We went into the assault just over there. I did no damage, and I lost a wound on the cryptic, still holding the relic with that, well, not the relic, the objective with the last immortal. As we move into Necron turn 5, potentially the last turn. Okay, so turn 5 there for the Necrons. The single immortal that was there just ran off the board, and then we went over here. I moved the 2 destroyers up, decided to assault the scouts there just to see if I can do a little bit of damage. I lost the last wound on the cryptic. I had 2 wounds to take on the immortal. I failed 1, but I managed to get a 5+ RP roll with the last wound, which is quite useful. I then did manage to kill a scout, so it is 1, we killed 1 each, so basically I'm just left still holding that objective as we move in to see if there is another turn. So I'm going to roll the dice, see if the game goes on. A 2, nope, game ends. So yeah, well done guys, it was a really good game. Hope you enjoyed the battle report. I was pretty lucky there, to be fair. The Veil of Darkness just happening to land right on the objective, but that is part and parcel of this game. Really fun mission. If you haven't tried it yet, then I'd definitely recommend you have a go. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.